What do you get when a London-raised American South African and a New York-raised Moroccan
meet on the interwebs and become instant soul sisters? One of them, an Ayurvedic practitioner and transformation coach, and the other, a Conspire breathwork coach and Reiki master teacher. Both obsessed with wellness, family, entrepreneurship, relationships, and the magic of human expansion and growth. You get a whole convo.
We truly believe that with an open heart, focused mind, and energy receptive to the possibilities, your wellness journey can guide you to a life that exceeds your wildest dreams.
Welcome to our podcast. We're Ella and Iman, and we are so happy you're here. Come vibe with us as we explore the wholeness of being through the lens of wellness.
Welcome to A Whole Convo with Ella and Iman. I'm pumped up and excited for this convo we are about to have.
I'm excited for us. Your energy right now is feeding me. So let's do this because I feel like, I need your energy today.
You borrow away, darling. You borrow away. I'm out here amplifying. We're going to talk about what happens when you carry on doing things that are not aligned with you, with your spirit, with your soul, with what makes you feel like you. This is so important.
Ooh, girl, that's a big one.
So big because it takes me back to the days when I was teaching law. And
teaching law.
I had a teaching the law, my darling, teaching the law.
Legalities.
Takes me back. Say that again.
Legalities.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, I used to teach law to international students. And we know that international students have to pay a lot of money to study wherever it is that they're going. If they're not from the home country, their fees are like doubled, sometimes tripled.
Right.
So there was a lot of pressure on these students to do well and to represent their family and to be that beacon of hope for the families that are putting them through these schooling things abroad. And so many of the young people that I was teaching hated studying law.
Oh my goodness.
It was heartbreaking.
It's common, though. Isn't that crazy? It's unfortunate that it's actually more common than we think.
This is the thing that the weight of expectation of our families of doing the things that we're supposed to do, the things that will make them feel proud, the things that will give us that sense of achievement, but on somebody else's version of what achievement is. And these poor young people were so deflated, demoralized, constantly tired and constantly getting unwell, like sickness picking up everything that was going, because they were doing something that didn't feel right to them, that didn't feel connected with the essence of who they were. And remembering those days, it was heartbreaking. I mean, we had some laughs, we made it work. They got through what they needed to get through. They always stuck with me, having that such a clear example of how it affects us when we do something that doesn't actually feel correct to us.
Yeah, I love this convo, Ella. And to actually relate it to what we really drive here most often is the connection to our health and vitality and doing such things. It's a direct correlation. It's directly related to how our vitality will be nourished and elevated when we're doing things that feel in alignment with our spirit. I have been guilty of this so many times in my life, especially in the past. I am actually now at a time in my life where I will go literally what we actually just spoke about before we hit record on this episode, just to be a little transparent. I will go through challenging, hard, quote unquote, hardship moments because I am going with what feels aligned with me versus doing something that maybe will make things easier, will make things more quote unquote successful, or more quote unquote like achieving more, and it being easier but not aligned, I will always choose, now where I'm at in my life, a little hardship and a little challenge, because I have trained myself to be able to carry that a little bit better.
Mm.
Nervous system, regulation, mindset work, the spirit being put first versus the exterior, expectations, whether it's family or society or even our own minds sometimes play tricks on
Mm.
us. Like, wait, but don't you want a easy life? Don't you want this? And so for me, no, like what I want is alignment. What I want is for my spirit to feel connected to my truth. And so I will go through a little hardship here and there in phases, and I'm accepting and embracing those roller coaster moments in my life in order to say, but you know what? I'm not negotiating on. You know what? I'm not compromising right now is that alignment for my spirit, me being in that joy of my truth.
Well, I'm going to give you a round of applause there, my darling. There's so much you said there, and I'd like to go back to the
Not
vitality
easy.
part.
It's not easy. I need to do breath work exercises with you in order to manage.
Well, because this is it. There's so many juicy things because there's the vitality part, and there's also the recognition that even when we do the things that we're aligned with, it doesn't mean it's going to be smooth sailing. You know,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
it doesn't equate that there won't be challenges. It doesn't equate that it won't test how we feel, both mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically, about stretching ourselves to meet that alignment. And yet the rewards are so worth it. But let's go back to the vitality bit because that's
Yes.
so important. When we were talking about it briefly earlier, it made me think about the times when I have found myself in situations where I'm doing the things I need to do to pay the bills. Because when you mentioned something, you said it's easier. And I think 9 times out of 10, the reason that something might feel easier is if there's a financial security
Yes.
that's attached to do it, making that decision to do something, right? Because our financial level of safety massively impacts so many things in our lives.
A hundred
And
percent.
and and when we're in partnership as well, or whether that's, our intimate partner or friendship, work partnerships, that really comes to the front because we can see that we have very different levels of financial safety than other people.
Yes.
And that is a
That's a
conversation
whole
in itself,
convo
a whole convo in
in its
itself.
own.
And when we find ourselves having to do the things that create that financial security and that feeling easy in a financial place, but everything else is not lining up with that financial ease. I remember I feel it in my body, just like feeling like the energy being sucked out of me
Yes.
in order to keep that easy thing going, keep the finances smooth, feeling less pressured and stressed about that. And yet everything else feels like it's falling apart around me. And that impacts any time that we're out of emotional alignment, out of mental alignment, and we can feel that effects in our body, then that will show up as, yes, I'm going to get ill a lot more frequently. I'm going to feel exhausted way more than I would if I'm doing something. Just even
Yes.
just if you talk about it and feel about it and think about it, something that makes you excited is energy giving. It makes you
Yes.
feel
It
expansive. It
jolts you. Yeah, it
it
jolts. It's a
does.
physical vitality as well because
And
it's an emotional and
upliftment.
mental connection.
Yes. Yes. So when we deplete that by choosing things that we feel like we have to do over things that feel more connected with us, then that will, over a period of time, keep showing up, keep giving us signs. Our body will keep speaking to us about the disconnect that's happening. And when I'm saying this, I'm very mindful. I'm very conscious of the fact that this is not a judgment about whatever situation we find ourselves in where may feel as though there is no other option and we have to pursue it. But I look back on my own experience and being the sole carer for my children, financially, emotionally, all of the things, there have been pockets of time where I have felt it was important to do the financially secure and financially stable thing, and it nearly took me out. It
Wow.
was so draining.
Yes.
So and
Because it's
that is
depleting, because it's a
so
depleting
depleting.
energy. To
Yes.
move that way in life, it's a depleting energy. It's not a filling, because the word fulfillment, even that word fulfillment, it's not filling our cup, it's not filling our spirit. That
Hmm.
vitality is being sucked out, drained out, and depleted and taken away. So there's that scarcity. So even though
Yes.
it may, of course, there are times where we have to make hard decisions and we have to make choices in order to not, be on the street like we were talking about finances. So yes, there is a responsible choice and decision we have to make as adults on what is best for us right now to be safe, secure, and protected. But even if we have to make that decision, even going into it with that intention and real clarity that this is exactly why I'm doing it, this is going to be a temporary thing, acknowledging the spirit, not ignoring it,
Yes.
and not making this a long-term thing that you consistently ignore that alignment.
Absolutely. And when we because I think this is, when that mentality of living for the weekend, I've just got to get through the week so I can get to the weekend
Oh,
and
I
live my life.
been there, girl. Oh my
You, you
goodness.
know, and it's that disassociation that happens because we're trying to separate ourselves from the pain, the dislike, the misalignment of being in that experience in the day to day in order to just survive and make it through. And uh, we're not here for that.
No.
We're not here as human beings for that. We're not here to feel so compressed,
Yeah, constrained.
suppressed,
Yep.
drained, disconnected from the goodness. And I know that this is something I've had to reconcile with the way that the schooling system led me to believe that life was, because it was reinforced over and over again. You
Mm,
have to work hard, you have to do this, you have to show up in a way that you prove yourself in your to get your good grades, to get your recognized as doing the right thing. And that socialization also teaches us to ignore what actually comes naturally to us and actually what feels life affirming and life giving. And there's a reason we can notice the difference and we feel the difference in something that's for us and aligned, and what did you say, like vitality, nourishing, filling us up, fulfilling, versus the opposite. So I love that you mentioned that to start off with. And then where did we go from there?
where did we go, or where do we want to go from there?
Well, okay. Well, that's a question in itself. But you said something that connected directly to. Oh yeah, that even when you choose those things that are aligned for you, it doesn't mean
Oh, right.
that it's going to just flow and it's going to be effortless and it's
Yeah.
going to be
Rainbows and
easy.
popsicles and all that. Yeah. Yeah, that's an important factor actually to consider, because I think that's the thing. It's almost like choose, how there's that saying like choose your poison. I don't really like that saying personally, but in this context and us talking about this topic, it's like just choose your hardship.
Mm,
Choose the one that you think is in alignment with how you want to move forward with your truth, because it's gonna exist as a human being, to just embrace that. And this is not like a pessimistic point of view. This is one being present, living in reality and
mm-hmm,
practicality. This is
mm-hmm,
not living in delusion. There
mm,
are going to be hardships no matter what we endure in life, because this is the human journey. This is the human story. And we're talking real small level right now. We're like literally this episode is about us talking about alignment and depletion of energy and vitality. There are bigger, crazier, deeper challenges in the world,
Yeah,
literally as we speak today. So even
absolutely.
from a large scale, of course that's different. And those are just that's a whole that's a whole convo in itself, but just to bring it here, bringing it home where you are, where our listeners may be right now, to
Mm,
just go inward and ask if there are two choices I have to make today, knowing and embracing that both choices may bring upon challenges and hardships. Am I able, can I hold, can I manage the choice that will at least allow me to be more aligned with my truth and joy and
mm.
spirit? Can I?
Wonderful. And in that, I think there's also a distinction to be made that when we are choosing something that depletes us, there is a level of pain associated in that depletion and in that hardship. Whereas when we choose a hardship or a challenge that comes from being aligned with something, there's a growing pain, which is a different kind of
Ooh, I love
experience
that.
because growth can't happen without challenge and without pushing through past our current limitations and our current constriction, but it leads to an opening up, it leads to expansion and taking up more space. So even in that challenge, the output and the outcome is so very different
Mm,
when it's compared to something that is depleting and constantly confining us. So it's also in asking that question, remembering, what feels like it's challenging me to stretch and grow versus keeping me contained and like squashing me down and causing a pain where I feel more disconnected from myself.
beautifully said. Yes.
So I love this question. I think we're going to put it in the show notes, Iman.
Oh, I love it. That I love this reflective contemplation for our listeners and viewers. Yeah, let's do that. Let's add it to the show notes. What do you want to end with? What can we wrap this beautiful convo in a little bow to really go just connect a little bit deeper with what this really means for us?
My invitation would be to consider what you want your life to look like as you look back. When we are in a situation, it feels so consuming. It feels that like there's never going to be an end to it. And yet we know
Mm.
when we move through it, it passes in a heartbeat. And do you want this looking back and this reflection on the choice that you made to represent you in the most expanded, lit up, most beautiful representation of you? Or do you want something else? I'll just leave it
Ooh.
as something else.
I am not saying anything after that. I love ending on that note. That is so deep. That is so beautiful. We'll make sure to add that to the show notes as well because it's so reflective and important. Thank you so much to our listeners, those watching on our YouTube, our viewers. This has been a whole convo with Ella and Iman, and we can't wait to talk to you next time.
Until next time.
That is a wrap on this week's convo. We had a blast talking to you.
Thank you for sharing your time, hearts, and minds with us.
We hope this episode left you thinking, feeling, and maybe even breathing a little deeper. If it moved something in you, please share it, text it to a friend, or just sit with it.
Remember, the power of change can start with the simplest convo.
And if you have any comments or thoughts you'd like to share with us, please feel free to do so. We'd love to connect with you. Don't forget to subscribe to our show so you never miss a moment of the magic. And if you're curious about any of our services and offerings, check out the show notes for all the links and goodies. We're so grateful you're on this journey with us. Until next time,
Stay rooted, stay whole.